Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. We're coming to you from Studio 84 Bugalobi. Another fun day, another fun chat with a close friend and a special guest here to share with us. I'd like us all to welcome Kemi.
Hey!
How are you today?
I'm good.
So, Kemi, I know you for all things beautiful, all things dazzling and elegant. Passion and talent. How does that define you?
I think I fall right smack in the middle of it. Passion will keep you going when nothing else can, and then talent will definitely set you apart from everybody else. So, yeah, I think they go together.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Oh, vanilla. Oh, well, it's a classic. It's an elegant classic.
Yes.
And
vanilla any day.
Vanilla any day.
Vanilla any day.
With
Vanilla
toppings or?
No, just plain old vanilla.
Just plain old vanilla.
Yeah, just plain old vanilla.
Do you do coffee?
I'm not really into hot beverages, to be honest.
Have you ever, though, done affogato, the Italian ice cream coffee? So you take your nice vanilla ice cream and then pour the shot of espresso on it. That's something you do?
I think that's the best way to take coffee.
Okay.
That is definitely the best way to take coffee.
I must say Italians know how to manage their coffee.
Yes, they do.
I know that, interestingly, do you remember a while back someone shared on one of our common groups a meme saying coffee is not Italian? Fair enough, coffee is not grown in Italy. And I believe the Turks were processing coffee before the Italians.
True.
But we all love a good cappuccino. We all love a good caffè latte. And all these things, I must say, come from the Italian roasters.
That's true.
And Naples in the south being the heart of the coffee land.
Yes.
So I remember when I was young, someone telling me that the perfect espresso would be brewed with a candle. Imagine the patience that would take to put a candle under your little Italian mocha and
wait for it
wait for it to heat that water. And I was like, good things take time, right?
Yeah, but I guess good things take time, and when you believe in something or you know what the end result is going to look like, you can wait a lifetime just to get it absolutely right. So that definitely makes sense.
Are you good at waiting for things?
When I was younger, no. No. I wanted things to happen in the moment, but the older I've gotten, I've learned to savor every moment and live in the moment, and there's nothing better than sex, I guess. Just living in the moment and taking time to enjoy the process is really liberating, and it gets better and better the older you get.
I agree with you. Liberating is the word. I remember when I was young and impatient, wanted everything, and I also wanted to know the outcome of everything. And interestingly, my husband over the years, when I'd ask him a question and he'd look at me and say, either yes or no. But you have to wait for it. And somehow it's now almost my tranquility mantra, because when things don't go the way I want, I'm like, well, the outcome is either yes or no.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right? So
it can't be both.
It can't be both. And I'll just have to deal with it. If it's, whether the yes or no is a positive in that case. But interesting. I like what you said. It's true. It is liberating at some point. Huh?
It really is.
And
really is.
We were also saying how the essence of time has changed for us.
I know, right? When I was younger and it's Monday, I'd be like, gosh, when is Monday ending? Tuesday. By the time it's Wednesday, you're like, when is it Friday? Today I get up, it's Monday. 30 minutes later, it's Friday. Yes. So time flies by so fast. It was January just the other day, and now we're already getting into August, meaning the year is literally done. But I guess the concept of time changes the older you get, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
And time for you, is your work seasonal, or events can pop up at any time of the year?
Events can pop up at any time of the year, but what I keep telling people is that even if I have 6 events in a year, what people fail to realize is my kind of work has a lot to do with the underground. We are like carrots or turnips. There's a lot happening that nobody ever sees. All you see is when we finally sprout. So when we do get these events, even when I look like I'm not working, what everybody would think in terms of execution. There are months of planning and initiation that go into that. So by the time you're seeing what you see, that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. So with regards to high or low seasons, I feel the whole year is generally, at least in my space, I would say a high season, because
Okay.
when you're not seeing me physically working, it means that there's a lot of internal stuff that is going on. Yeah.
I can imagine. And when you advise people on options available about how to, allow me to use the word, dress their event, if someone is going in a direction that you know is going to possibly really not work out, I imagine you have to use all your wonderful communication skills to steer them back in the right direction as far as you can, right?
Yes, yes. That's one thing I keep telling people. Events planners, deco stylists should all get a degree in psychology and patience.
Yeah.
But that's why when we go back to talent and passion, you can be a great artist, but you have to be a great communicator. And most artists aren't good communicators because I know what I know what I can see. If you can't follow, I mean, I can't help you with that. But this business teaches you, or at least how I have managed to survive, is I'm one of those people who do not believe that there's a bad idea.
Okay.
No. We just have to find a way to dress it.
To dress it, yeah.
It will
yeah.
be palatable for X number of people. When it comes to your wedding, I tell people this is usually a once-in-a-lifetime event. How about you do you?
Yeah.
Now, it's my duty to be able to get what you are and put it together, curate it into either a package or a space that will be palatable for all the people who do come, or at least, the majority. So, do I have issues with people coming up with crazy ideas? That's my forte.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the more of an outlier idea that people bring on board, that's really...
Gets you going.
Oh, yes. Boring really gets me off. I'm like, okay, so I'd like to have something exactly like so-and-so. And I'm thinking, you have a unique fingerprint. You're a unique human being. Why would you think it's okay for you to look like someone else or act or speak or... So
Okay.
even when they do come with that idea, I always find ways to prod them, because I believe we are unique human beings and our events should portray this.
And how do you manage expectations in the sense that, as you were saying, ideally you should all have that degree in psychology and be able to communicate. You've put together the event, and then the person for whom the event is for, let's say a bride, she's maybe nervous, she's excited, and what words of advice do you have for her to say, make sure you enjoy this day, or make sure you don't let the day slip you by? Because I'm sure that we all, I mean, I remember I was giddy for one function, and for the other I wanted to go home. And I couldn't have cared less if Boaz had to face all the guests alone. and I'm sure you've had moments like that, right?
Absolutely. Those moments do come through. And I think that is the reason why I decided to step into the planning space. Because before I was a deco stylist. I am a deco stylist. But I felt that there has to be something more beyond having a pretty dress and a pretty space. Somebody should be able to enjoy the day. And most times, brides, mostly, I mean couples, but brides in particular, do not enjoy their day as much as they would want to, because they just aren't mentally prepared for it. And even when you will find a bride who is mentally prepared for it, because there are so many moving parts, along the way they will become anxious. So with a planner's job is basically to handhold you, guide you, tell you, you know what, I've done this many times before. This is going to be fine. Breathe. Enjoy the moment. It's going to be over before
You know it, yes.
Exactly. So when you start this journey with a couple, they slowly learn to trust you. They realize that what most people, I'll say this, most people are like, oh, what does a planner do? The fact that you have so much experience, you know what the important things are. You know the things that somebody should dwell on. You know the things that even if they did dwell on them, the result is not going to change. So you basically are guiding them through this period, which ensures that they enjoy their day.
Yes.
You really need to enjoy your day above anything else.
Because and also many couples don't have that skill set. We're only human, right? So you will know that this flower will wilt before that one. And this is a very banal example. You'll know that this fabric becomes static, and before you know it, everyone's being electroshocked.
Exactly.
And this one will drape better.
Exactly.
And all these elements. And then you're so international, so you'll know that if you have an international crowd, make sure, we're not stepping on any toes, respecting of culture. So all these things, you have the experience and the baggage to be able to bring it all together.
That is correct. That's correct. A simple thing like a parent forgetting to get a jab.
Yes.
That is absolutely mandatory in one country would send a bride, completely cuckoo. So that's the duty of the plan. I usually say it in BNI. We think about the problems that you didn't even know that you had.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because we know that they're just lurking out in the corners. So if we're able to arrange those details so that you can concentrate on just being a bride and enjoying the moment.
And are weddings changing in the sense many more mixed couples, I think, in the sense of different religious denominations? I mean, there's so much more intermarriage on so many different levels. So are weddings changing for you? Is there more choreography needed to be able to bring all these differences together?
I could say in the last 20 years that I have been, almost 20 years that I've been doing this, the mix has been going on for a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that hasn't changed much. What I feel has changed a lot, and we are ready for it, and we've been ready for it for a really long time. I used to tell people are looking for experiences, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's the experience. It's not anything about the lavishness or, recreating or remodeling spaces. No, it's about how did my guests feel? Were they able to get, that intimate gift? When I was having my vows, was everybody listening? Was my mom exactly where she was supposed to be so she's visible? That's what people are looking for at the moment. Gone are the days when it's all just big and flashy and gold and speaking lots of money. Now it's more about taste. Yes, people are becoming more and more tasteful about the final look that they have for their events.
So interesting. And the intimacy of the experience then, I suppose, right?
We are slowly getting there.
Yeah.
We will never really have intimate events until we understand that you do not need 500 people to stand and watch you walk down the aisle. Of the 500 people, less than 30%. Of the 30% that you do know, you hate almost 10% of them. So why should you be having people like that in your space? And then when the event is done, or whilst you're at it, there are loans that are being taken for these kind of experiences, or you're borrowing money, or people are giving you money, and then they want to have a say in what you do on a particular day. Yet you could easily put together 30 to 50 of your best friends. I'm glad I've gotten this opportunity. People need to understand destination weddings are the cheapest weddings for the couple.
Do people really know what destination wedding means?
And when I say destination, because now destination is people coming to Uganda and having a wedding here, or having a wedding, a destination within the country.
Okay.
But the ones I'm saying that are pretty, people should head in that direction, get yourself to Diani.
Okay.
Get yourself to the coast with your 30, 50 people. You'll pay maybe for 10 of your immediate family. And that's about it. People come, they look at it as not only a celebration, but also a holiday on their end. So they're paying their transport, they're paying their accommodation, their meals are sorted. But when you put it together, it looks like, oh my gosh, somebody spent a lot of money. But literally, destination weddings are the way to go. People need to start paying their way at events and not giving 100,000 and then expecting 500,000 worth of experience.
Yeah. I mean, I think with a destination wedding, it just adds to the overall experience
I know,
because
right?
anytime one travels, you're seeking adventure, you're leaving something behind, it's the change of scenery, excitement, right? So, yeah.
No doubt about it.
And less people know you, so you possibly might even just be yourself a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I personally love destination weddings for my couples. It's a little bit more difficult for us as providers, but lucky enough, I've had quite a lot of experience. I recall I had to do a wedding in Congo, Goma, and 3 weeks before the event, Ebola
Yeah.
arrived in the space, but that's where you go back to talent and passion. My talent got me the job, but it was my passion that pushed me to be able to deliver. So
Wow.
I sat with my team and I told them, you know what? We are going into a war zone of sorts. Anybody who does not feel that they can be able to do this, I would rather ask that you leave now.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we had already paid for a truck. These are some of the things people never really understand. They say, oh, we make a lot of money, but there are so many risks. The mitigating factors inside of there are like a gazillion. So you find yourself, I remember I had to hire a Jaguar bus. So I hired 3 Jaguar buses, and then we got to the border and they said the driver couldn't drive. And I drove these buses across.
Wow.
Yes. So these are things people don't see when they just see, the final. They're like, oh, wow, this looks
Yeah.
great. But right in the middle of Ebola, you can imagine, and you have 1,000 people milling around. These guys aren't afraid, So that was Goma. The next time I recall, it was just before the second lockdown, and we were going to South Sudan. And then on Friday, after we had been paid literally 70% of the deposit that day, the president closed
The country
the
again.
country.
Oh, wow.
And I had to fly over 42 members of my team to Juba.
Wow.
So destination weddings are a whole vibe, but they come with, on our end.
Yes.
It hasn't been easy, but as I said, over the years I've learned. And when I learn, I'm one of those people, if I find something good, I'll tell someone else about it. Someone's like, oh, that should be your company secret. And I'm like, yeah, but there are other secrets to keep. But, you wouldn't send somebody into a space where you know that they're going to drown if you have the right information.
Yeah.
So right now, when I do events outside of the country, I do not, I will go with a team, just a particular team, but I do not carry our items across.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to, and then I've created great partnerships and synergies with other service providers within the region. So if I'm going to Diani or Juba or Kinshasa, I will not carry tons of items, because then I now know that it's possible for you to work with a local service provider, and the main thing, as we say, talent is the one thing that nobody can borrow or steal or
Yes.
take away. You can fake passion for a bit, but with talent,
Yeah.
that's what I am able to move around with. That's the gift I've been given, and yeah.
So, and then sometimes I'm sure you have to, if you're presented with problems like that, you have to find solutions on the spot, right?
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm sure that sometimes I say super glue and a black marker are my best friends. Just start fixing things on the spot.
Yeah, if I had a toolbox, I think inside of there could be a jumbo jet and clippers and scissors and maybe an operating table.
Hot glue gun and all sorts.
Yes,
Yes.
This business, first of all, someone would say, yes, everybody's job is difficult, no doubt about it. Lots of moving parts. The difference is that our business is built on emotions. So already the client is making an emotional choice.
Yes.
Whether they can afford it or not, at that moment they're thinking, this is a once in a lifetime.
Uh-huh.
Then halfway through, maybe they realize, this is a once in a lifetime thing, but I could have used this money for something else, or I don't even have the money. So even when you do create an amazing production, just relating the cost. And in our field, people do, as I said, we're like carrots or turnips. There's so much underground work that nobody sees, and all they see are the 2-3 days that they see you maybe put things together. So, it is an emotional job. So you have to really learn how to pace yourself, understand that there are boundaries between clients and customers, and yet lack of boundaries is also one of the things that makes many of us do really well.
Yeah.
And yet it's also the same thing that will come back and bite you in the ass. So to be able just to strike that balance,
Yes.
it takes character, but it also takes time, experience.
Absolutely. And very often all this work that you've done, as you call it, the moment of sprouting, it's a one-shot production, right? You're not going to repeat it. It's not a show on Broadway that's going to run for 3-4 months. So it's your one. It's live.
Yes.
And it's everything in that one moment.
That's correct.
So that's why it needs,
Yeah.
it needs your confidence also to carry forward, because I'm sure that the couple ride on your confidence as well at some point. You're instilling it in them. You have their back. And yeah.
In my business, if you don't have confidence in buckets and throws, stay at home.
Yeah, okay.
Because if it's not the couple, maybe it's the committee, or it's just the space or the service providers, they'll chip at everything that you have. So you have to really have some solidness inside, and then you also have to go home to a space that encourages you to rejuvenate.
Okay.
I often take holidays and people are like, oh, it looks like she has a lot of money. No. I need to take care of myself because in this business, you will carry quite you will carry quite a lot. And it's important that at the end of every event, that you undress and you wash yourself out and you detox both mentally, physically, psychologically, and then you can be able to come back out again strong. So the space that you step out of when you're done with work is also equally important.
And there's clearly a system to it, because then every event is new and different, right? So this cleansing, rejuvenating, re-energizing you're doing is not, I can see, it's not just for you, but it's because you want to bring the best new you to the next project.
Correct. Correct.
I see, it's intentional. I can see, yes.
Yes.
There's a system
Yes,
to it.
And people will say create a system, create structures. In fact, people will say create a team. When it comes to creativity, you will create the team, but that's why people will have the same recipe and produce completely different cakes.
Yes, yes.
So with ours, no matter how great your team is, what they do is support you. But you have to make sure that you're mentally and physically ready to come back again with new and exciting ideas. In my case, I do a lot of creation myself, and I think before I got into that space, I was like, well, copying and pasting is the new thing. People see Beyonce, they want Beyonce. Whether they have the right type of body, they will wear what Beyonce is wearing. Then here comes people like us who are speaking about Giorgio Armani. We're the old artists. We create from scratch. So when you create from scratch, the prototype has to come from you.
Yes, yes.
Then you send it out. Or you create the prototype. I'll have my architect, my digital designer, they will breathe life into these. But before breathing life into them, you have to create the prototype yourself.
The original idea and concept comes from you. And sometimes I suppose it's a rough sketch. Other times it's gesticulating. Other times it's you telling a story, and they have yes, I'm sure.
And they've gotten to that point. My florist, he knows. I'll tell him. Then I'm like, he's like, boss, you mean 2, 2, 2? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, have him spell that for us.
And that's cascading.
Yes. It's a very technical term, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, what do they say when you've poured enough coffee? It's one of those words.
That one. That one.
Oh my, I feel we're just scratching the surface here, Kemi. There's a lot to be said, a lot to be shared, and a lot of guidance to be given, I think, to anyone who's planning any kind of event that's going to be, one of those milestone moments for them, etc. So I hope you'll be back to share more with us.
Absolutely. And I guess at the start I could barely get through it, but I think we're doing good now. So.
Absolutely. Next time, make sure to have some vanilla ice cream on the side. I think that's what got us going.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
we definitely need to look out for part 2.
Yes,
Okay.
I will definitely be coming through for that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, everyone. And do please look out for part 2. Kemi, the Bespoke Planner, was with us today, and we'll be looking out for more from Studio 84. Till soon, don't forget to follow and like.